Hi, my name is Mandikudza Sithole. I'm excited again to come and share with you about the insights that we find in the book of Genesis. In the book of Genesis, right at the beginning, right from the onset of creation, we'll see the character of God. And we already saw that when God said, "Let there be light," that was a hint about vision. When God then said it is good, that was a hint that we must always be positive. But on the same note, after God created light, that very same day, in verse 4, the Bible says He divided the light from the darkness. And then when you go to verse 5, it talks about calling the light day, and then the darkness night. And the evening and the morning was the first day. This is when God created time. Before He created the elements that measure time, which are the stars and the moon and the sun, He created time. So when day one came, God showed that He is a God who values time. Time is one of the best resources God gave to us, but it's one of the most critical ones that one, once lost, cannot redeem. Now we need to understand that we need to be respecters of time. We give ourselves these symbols of time management. Why? Because if God respected time so much so that the very first thing He created was light, yes, but then He demarcated it and made it into an element of time by separating light from darkness and made it day one. And so even the whole plan of salvation is surrounded by time. There is going to be a time where probation will close. We talk about the Daniel time period unto 2,300 days. God came right on time in the first advent. He's going to come right on time in the second advent. So if you are not a respecter of time, life with God is going to be difficult. You will not get along. And time is something you must never take from anybody, because you can never give it back to them. Because time moves. The Bible in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 to 8 says there is a time for everything. There is a time for a girl to be young, to be fresh, to be unmarried. If you waste her time for being called a young girl will be gone. There's a time for a man to be a boy, and then to be a man, and then to do what he has to do before the time has passed. There was a time when I could do hairstyles. I could do a bibo in my language, a slang of my language, or we call it a mohawk, but now I have a no-hawk. I no longer grow hair because that time is past. So we must be respecters of time. They say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, but the next best time is now. We need to be people who respect time. So when you look at your day and you consider the 24 hours that you were given, you need to be very interested in how you spend every hour. Sometimes we break the day into three portions of 8. 24 hours can be broken into 8 hours, 8 hours, and 8 hours. 8 hours of sleeping. I know a lot of us like that. But then after sleeping, there is 16 hours, which we should occupy in order for us to be able to earn a living out of that. Because how do you earn a living? Time times talent. That gives you money. And that's how we are occupying, and that's how we are supposed to make a living. Occupying the time with the talent that we have. But out of 16 hours, you have slept 8. A lot of people will spend another 8 hours resting, perhaps after spending 8 hours at work. So you've wasted 8 hours, which means you're only productive 8 hours, 1/3. Which means if you are 30 years old, you have spent 10 years of your life sleeping, 10 years of your life doing nothing, and then only 10 years are productive. Meaning a 30-year-old man who sleeps for more than 8 hours will never catch up with a 30-year-old man who occupies the other 16 hours. I always say to young people, look, if you have 8 hours for school or 8 hours for work, and you have got 8 hours for sleep, there's always another 8 hours that you should occupy doing your own things. And by the time you are 50, you have been more productive than one who does nothing. I'm going to end with a verse which you find in Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 10. It says, "A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of hands to rest, and poverty will hit you like a bandit." We need to be respecters of time. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time is now. Make it count. God bless you.